All August long, we're doing a Kind of Funny Patreon pledge drive and asking you to chip in on patreon.com/kindoffunny if you enjoy the shows. For real, we're an 11-person independent operation, and we couldn't do it without your financial support on patreon.com/kindoffunny. So thank you.
What's up and welcome back to the Kinda Funny Screencast. Of course, I am Tim Gettys, and I'm joined by a very rare appearance by one Greg Miller here.
Clicking, my favorite sounds.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense when you see the movie, everybody.
Exactly. A lot of gamers.
A lot of gamers.
Too many gamers. Too many gamers, some would say.
Gamers think you can do this.
I love it so much. I can't wait to talk all about this. Of course, this is Gran Turismo, our review of, what is it? I always want to say PlayStation Studios, but that's not right. PlayStation Productions. We've had a handful of these so far, Greg. We got Uncharted.
We did.
In February 2022. Now we have Gran Turismo. We have 3 other movies that are in development here.
Does T-Lou not fall into this? Does Twisted Metal not fall into this? That's a television series.
So movies, we have Gran Turismo. And then upcoming in development, we have Days Gone and Ghost of Tsushima. And then Gravity Rush, which I think they were saying was, Gravity
Can you
Rush.
fucking believe it?
Well, can you believe it, Greg? The Last of Us and Twisted Metal as well. So they're going with this stuff.
God bless
Upcoming in development TV show. So Gravity Rush is listed as a movie here. As a film.
Good. Cat's finally going to get her due, everybody. I told you how many years ago to play it on Vita. You didn't want to listen. Then it came to PlayStation. Y'all liked it. It was too late.
Now's going to be your time. But yeah, then we have the release shows, Last of Us and Twisted Metal, upcoming in development, God of War, and Horizon. Yeah. So they're really kind of going all out with this. I saw rumors today. Rumors aren't even the right word. There was an interview with the Uncharted director saying that they're working on Uncharted 2. And it's not greenlit. It's not official yet, but like they're trying to make things happen. So we'll see how that
Can't
all
wait for
goes.
the train segment.
No, that'd be really damn cool. But of course, this is the Kind of Funny Screencast where we get together each and every week to review the latest in TV, movies, and trailers. We just did a whole bunch of week-by-week breakdowns of Secret Invasion. And then upcoming, me, Barrett, Sage, and Carboni will reunite as the Star Wars crew for weekly breakdowns of Ahsoka starting late in August, just a few short weeks away. Can't wait for that. We're going to have a great time with all of you on youtube.com/kindoffunny and roosterteeth.com as videos. If you want it as a podcast, search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Screencast, and we will be right there for you. But if you wanted to go above and beyond, you got to go to patreon.com/kindoffunny. Just like our Patreon producers, Jedi Master Deadpool, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, Logan Delaney, Nathan Lamoth, and Patrick Delgado have done. Because of their support, we get to keep doing a whole bunch of cool shows, and you get them ad-free. Plus, a whole bevy of bonus content that you're definitely going to want to get. And for the whole month of August, we're doing our pledge drive, asking you guys for your support for all that we're doing here. And we're putting out a whole bunch of free promo episodes of our Patreon exclusive content over the weekend. So enjoy those for the rest of the month of August. Today, we're brought to you by Liquid IV, but we'll tell you all about that later. Greg, this is rare because you normally aren't on the movie and TV
I'm the game guy.
You're the game guy, but this is it. This is a game related thing.
I'm the PlayStation guy.
So we just did Twisted Metal screencast as well. You can check that out. It's live now. So that was me having a great time talking about a show that was surprisingly damn good. Greg.
Yeah. Blessing knew all along. You wanted to make fun of him for a long time.
I was. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I was the one saying it was going to be good from the very beginning, and I'm the one that actually fucking watched the thing.
Okay.
All right.
Blessing's very busy playing Baldur's Gate.
Has he played Twisted Metal for a second in his life ever?
You know what?
I don't know.
As Blessing's attorney, I don't have to listen to these baseless allegations.
That's all true. But you know a game that we don't play, Greg? Gran Turismo. That's why I think this is very funny that you're here talking about a movie based on a game that you don't even play.
Sure.
One of the rare PlayStation games that are just not your jam.
Sure. I always go back to, of course, this movie telling the, based on a true story of the GT Academy. And like one of the first times I guess it must have been in Japan. I forget exactly, but it was a PlayStation thing that I think was in Japan, but maybe not. But it was a PlayStation press tour. It was a big deal. And got to meet Kaz from GT, right? And he watched me play his game in the most expensive rig with the best wheel. And it was just me putting it into the wall and being unable to get out, and I don't know how to shift a car, and it's just like, I am sorry. Yeah. You've made a great simulator for a thing I don't do or care about.
You know what's funny is I didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
But for me, Gran Turismo was always the perfect 10 game that I just couldn't wrap my head around. Like, we all love racing games to an extent of like, it's a video game genre that is pick up and play. You understand what you're doing, even though it might not be my favorite genre. Yeah. We can play it. We understand it. We like it. We've had racing games in the past. I mean, I don't want to speak for you. I've had racing games in the past that I love. You know, like a Need for Speed Underground.
Sure.
Things like that, right? But Gran Turismo was always the one I wanted to love. But the simulation stuff, the real driving simulator, not for me.
It's not a game. It's a driving simulator.
It's a driving simulator, you know? And they're not wrong saying that. Like, I remember when Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec came out on PS2, all the video game magazines were like, this is the most beautiful game ever made. And because of that, I was like, I got to at least rent this thing. I rented it like 5 times. Never really understood it. What was my car of choice, Greg? That's right, the PT Cruiser.
Right. Oh, wow. I didn't see one coming. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny.
Sure.
You know? And guess what? It was
funny.
It was.
Cool Greg was busting a gut.
He was, definitely. But I never got good at this stuff.
Yeah.
Flash forward to IGN around 2011. GT Academy was popping off. They came through. They did a GT Academy. We shot something there. I'm pretty sure we shot with the real man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Neat.
Because I was thinking about it the year-wise. I'm like, that was that year that he won.
That tracks.
And they all came to the tracks. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my history with Gran Turismo. And then, yeah, of course, Mike reviewed it, Gran Turismo 7 for us last year. Yeah, I guess actually, sorry, the last thing that I have is I am absolutely obsessed with the theme song of the Gran Turismo franchise. Moon Over the Castle is
Gran Turismo, you're going faster.
Yeah. And I love every iteration of it. Anytime a new game comes out, I always want to watch the trailers and the intros because they always just outdo themselves with the remixes of this shit. And the opening to Gran Turismo 7, it's 8 minutes long. The most pretentious thing I've ever seen. Goes through the history of vehicles, ending in Gran Turismo 7. It's a fucking work of art, and I watched it last night, and I recommend everyone go to YouTube and check it out right now.
As they should.
As they should. But enough about all that, Greg.
Okay.
Me and you watched Gran Turismo last night.
We did.
What did you think?
I enjoyed it. People today have been asking me about it, and Jen and I talked about it on the car ride home. She came too. And it was like, yeah, it was a fun film. It was fun enough. I don't think it's rushed to the theaters. You know, is Kevin running this?
Yes, I am.
Kevin, what's on your review scale? What's the one where it's wait for streaming or whatever?
I believe that's 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, and that's where I would put this on the kind of funny scale. I would say this is okay, and it's an okay. Like I think it's exactly what you expected to be from the trailers, right? Of like it's an underdog story based off the world of video games, and there's gonna be some car racing is he gonna win? And it's like, yeah, like it's a by the numbers film, but it was enjoyable enough. I think the guy who stars in it, Archie, he does a great job. Like I don't know if he's never been in anything I've seen, I think.
Me neither. And
he was great in this. I really did like his progression through it. David Harbour, excellent in this. Orlando Bloom, eating the scenery, being an evil marketing guy, but I dug it. Not even evil, morally ambiguous, back and forth between it. Like, I think they have a fun cast, and it's a fun enough movie, and it's a fun enough story. It's like it didn't blow my hair back. I'm not like rushing out telling to preach the word, but I enjoyed my time with it for sure. One of the things I thought was very interesting. I kind of ate my words where on Games Daily the day the reviews came out, we did the review roundup, and one of the reviews in there was these are all film people, and so I want to say it was one of the ones written, and it was just like, hey, like, I'm not a video game person, and there weren't any real video game fans, so it didn't seem like there were a lot of video game Easter eggs. And I made the comment in the reading it, I was like, well, in Gran Turismo, I'm not expecting a lot of PlayStation video game Easter eggs. And I was shockingly surprised by
so many.
The PS5 noises. That he gets a trophy, and it's a gold trophy from the PSN.
Come on.
You caught Kazunori's cameo in it?
Oh, yeah.
He's the sushi chef. I was like, damn, this is like, all right,
stuff,
this is
man.
Fun.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Nathan Drake shows up and says, I'm putting together a team. Car. Come with me, car.
Some of those things were true. Some of those things weren't. Just that last one.
Just that last one. Nathan Drake doesn't show up with the entire knowledge. What'd you think?
I really liked this, man. I'm right there with you. I'd give this a 3 out of 5. I feel like it's close to a 4. It really is, but I think that there's just a couple video game movie crimes that are committed that I just don't understand, man. When you have a great song, use the great song, and they just don't do it, Greg. Yeah. I don't understand. They hinted at it. There was one moment they played the theme, and I was like,
here we go.
Crap. And they did it in a perfect way of like, oh, they're using it now. They're going to bring it back for the final race, and it's going to be awesome. Instead, it was just kind of generic score. And I know that people are like, Tim, you care way too much about this. It doesn't actually matter. Yes, it does. It's what makes the Uncharted movie just an action movie and not Uncharted. You know, like if you just had way more vuvuzelas, the Uncharted movie would have been a better movie. Yeah. But without it, it feels generic because it doesn't feel Uncharted. There's so much attachment to sounds and feelings of video games that when you're going to adapt them, you need to hit that stuff. And I was supremely let down by that choice. It baffles me. I don't get it. Having said that, you bringing up the wait for streaming or like you wouldn't necessarily rush out to a theater to watch this. I'm totally there in terms of the quality of the movie itself. Like, I don't think that this is like oh man, you got to see this with people around you type movie. I am very upset that this was one of the first screeners in years for me that it wasn't in one of the more nice auditoriums. We walk in and I'm like, oh man, like I want Dolby for this. I want to feel the engines roar and I want all of that. And like the sound design was incredible in this movie. I feel robbed of an experience. So much so that I'm kind of interested in seeing again.
Wow.
Because I really think that they did something special with, again, Gran Turismo, the driving simulator, man. They care so much about getting the cars to feel right, sound right, all that stuff. And this movie sounds good in an okay theater. I can't even imagine what it would feel like in a great one. I might just wait till it's out on home and I'll do that in my own.
I really appreciate it too. You know, you talk about the video game crimes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think I was prepared for more cringe. There wasn't as much as there's some here and there of a line or whatever, but I appreciated the way they did frame it around the games. And again, like one of the things we talked about in Games Daily in the review roundup was the opinion pieces and think pieces about the fact that there's an accident in the film. And I don't want to. We're spoiling.
Hey, so from here on out, we're going full spoilers. We've given our thoughts, spoiler free. Spoilers from here on out.
There's an accident in the film that kills a spectator, you know, and that really did happen to the real driver. But in his real life, it happened 2 years after he podiumed at a Le Mans. And instead, here they take it and they put it before then and kind of use it as like a
motivation.
Yeah, a motivation to keep plot point. Yeah, to keep going or whatever. And a lot of people, rightfully so, thought that was not cool. And reading it, I thought so as well. Getting into and watching, I'm not trying to give him a pass, but it was like, oh well, it is a modern movie when this wasn't a modern thing, and so it's already. He wasn't playing the PlayStation 5 version of the game and stuff like that. What I was driving at, not even about that, was the video game portion of it. Like, stop it. I'm never making a pun when I say driving at. All right, was how they used the PlayStation 5, how they used the PlayStation. Of course, you know. There's a lot of PlayStation logos in this, but it makes sense because it is based on the GT Academy. I didn't expect it, and I really dug the beginning of the movie when they were like, Kazan, and it's in text, but it's like Kazunori had this dream, and he would make the music, and they're showing him doing all the things, and he called it Gran Turismo. I was
dude,
like,
chill.
Damn, that's pretty dope. That's
it gave us stills for Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
They really pulled that off of like setting the stage of treating this video game with reverence, which again, we have reverence for it, even though we don't necessarily care. We get the importance of this franchise.
Yeah, for sure, right. And so, yeah, the way they drop it in, I appreciated and enjoyed the, you know, way they put him in when he's in his room playing, and then have the car form around him, and then when he's in the car later on in the movie and they pull the car away. Like, they did a bunch of neat stuff of like, hey, this is how a gamer, as they would keep saying in the movie, right, would think about this and how it would work. And I really dug it, like in terms of like his character motivation. Like, I've driven this track 1,000 times. The wheels are, what were wrong with the brakes? The brakes were belayed or something. Like, they said some word and everyone in our row was just buttered like, or some shit. I'm like, I don't even remember what that means, but okay. Yeah, exactly. I was like, all right. Like, they did a lot of fun stuff in this. Yeah.
You brought up there was some cringy gamery stuff. It's funny to me because, like, while that is true, I almost just feel like they nailed it. It's so authentic. Like, that is how people that don't know gamer culture
Gamers.
would refer to it. They would refer to them as gamers. They keep saying noob over and over and over, but it's just one guy
who
does
doesn't
it.
get it. Yeah.
And I'm like,
you could see that. Yeah.
It just, I feel like it was well written. I feel like it was an authentic experience. It might not be how we want to be represented, but it's real. That is how this shit goes. And I feel like Orlando Bloom's character, I can imagine a lot of people not vibing with him, but it's like, y'all, he's real.
Yeah.
We've met him before.
We've been in meetings with him
We've
before.
been in meetings with this guy, pitching these dumbass ideas and sticking by him and then having to like kind of weasel his way through it all. I really enjoyed the characters that we did get in this. It's a very simple film, right? It is very, you know exactly what you're going to get, and you're going to get that. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of just the highest budget Disney Channel original movie we've ever seen.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
This reminds me of Double Team. This reminds me of Miracle in Lane 2. It's just a fun sports story that we know how it's going to get to the end. It's more of a question of how enjoyable is the journey they're going to be. And I was really, really into it the entire way through. One surprise I had, G fucking loved it.
Oh, yeah?
G was like, I'd give this a 5, man. I can't believe for how long it was. I was in. She's like, I guess I just like sports stories. And I was like, I told you going into this. She was like, it's going to be some video game shit that I don't know. I'm like, it's not. I was like, trust me, I don't even know this stuff. Like, it's going to be okay. And I think they did such a good job of like making it easy to understand for us of like what's going on from the car side that we don't know. But then also just the game side, I thought they did such a great job of not just the Easter eggs of sound effects and music motifs and things like that, which they did really well. More so the camera angle stuff, which like can be a little like that can be kind of cringy sometimes. And when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it takes you out of it. And you're like, you're trying to look like a video game and you're not looking like a video game.
Sure.
This succeeded in looking like Gran Turismo, changing the camera angles every single time. The direction of this movie I thought was immaculate and what I would expect from Blomkamp. And that is the type of thing of plussing this up so that it is more than just a simple story. There's a visual style to it that they nailed the Gran Turismo-ness of it all. And the amount of shots we'd get of the like third person then in the cockpit or whatever, like those shots were so sick. And then you actually see the driver lines and they're either yellow or red depending on the angle and all that stuff. And it's like it authentically looked like Gran Turismo. And the way they'd pull up the HUD constantly to show you where everyone was in relation to each other, what lap they're on, all that stuff just was like, man, this is so cool. Like I'm just so happy that we're at a point now that we expect these video game movies and shows to be good, and they keep delivering. I think over and over of like, for the most part, good. Some of them amazing. Some of them great. Some are like a little less than, whatever, like something like a Halo. But like watching this, I'm just so happy that a Gran Turismo movie, for my history with this franchise, could be as good as this was.
For sure.
And
100%.
3 out of 5, I'm not saying everybody should go. Like,
we're not shouting from the rooftops, but I mean, it was an enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
If I was on a plane or if I was at home and somebody's like, oh, I haven't seen that, I want to watch something, I'm like, oh yeah, pop it on, it's great.
Yeah, totally. I want to keep talking about this, but real quick, here is a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. Y'all know how much I love to stay hydrated, and Liquid IV makes it easier and better than ever to ensure that I'm always living my best, most hydrated life. And you can too. Liquid IV, the #1 powered hydration brand in America, is now available in sugar-free with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone, and you can keep your daily routine exciting with 3 new flavors: white peach, green grape, and lemon lime. Let me tell you, the white peach is good. It's real good. We here at KindaFunny swear by this stuff. 1 stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Now sugar-free. Grab your Liquid IV hydration multiplayer sugar-free in bulk nationwide at Costco, or get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code KindaFunny at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you use promo code KindaFunny at liquidiv.com. The cast was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And surprising. When we saw his mom pop up, and it was Ginger Spice from the Spice Girls.
All the way, just like completely over my head until we got outside and you guys were like, gosh, that was Ginger Spice. I was like, what?
Jerry Holloway, baby.
Jerry Holloway was in that flick? I didn't even notice.
And she gave her all, man. She was a
when he gets in the car accident, he's like,
Like it was awesome, man. And
his dad, how do I pronounce his name?
I think Jaimon.
Jaimon, I think
Yeah.
so too. Yeah,
Who was just like
he's in everything.
He's in everything, and he's so damn good.
Crying. He's crying in this movie.
Yeah,
He's crying and making it
showing
look
real
good in this.
emotion.
And
And
he's struggling to be a dad. I get it.
dude, the relationship between the family, again, it is, we've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
But I feel like they did a good job of being like, we don't need to worry about all the fluff. You get it. Let's just keep moving the plot on. The montages were super fun of like the training sequences of, all right, these are gamers. Let's make them racers. Can they all handle it or not? Like,
You gotta work
the
out.
amount of races in this movie and how it kind of felt like there was like a good build of like believability and them kind of learning so that when he's actually racing against these guys, and then the amount of different teams there were that we never even really get introduced to.
You just need to go. The gold and black team are bad guys.
They're fucking bad.
Cobra
guys,
Kai, get the
dude.
fuck outta
Straight
here.
up. And that's all we need.
Yeah.
You know, just great visual language to it all of like, you understand what's going on and it just feels satisfying, you know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very satisfied.
Yeah, I think satisfying is a great way to put it. You know, I think, you know, for me, in a lot of the movies we watch, I talk about, man, I looked at my watch, like, I can't believe this is still going. And at this point, I checked my watch a few times because I wanted more. I was like, oh, I'm having a great time. I hope this isn't almost over. Oh, man, only an hour left. Oh, man, only this much left, right? Like, I was into it on that level that I was like, oh, yeah, I want to see where this is going. I'm enjoying myself. And, like, it moved at a great pace. Like, it's a little over 2 hours, right? Like,
Yeah.
Didn't feel like long, didn't overstay its welcome, gave me what I wanted. I enjoyed the relationships. I enjoyed his budding romance with Audrey.
Yeah.
You know what I
Fun
mean?
enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, the watch look at moment, right? That always kind of feels maybe like 70%
The
through.
watch look at me.
What the moment in the movie you look at your watch.
Oh, yes,
right?
yes.
It's yeah, sorry, not in the movie, but like there's always, I'd say it's around 60-70% through. How
much more I got here?
That's at least good enough. We're like, what do we got going on?
Yeah.
And I feel like around that part is where we get like the crash moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really gave the movie a core to it, that there were stakes that were previously just hinted at, but I think they did a really good job of like not making it too overly dramatic, but like it just felt appropriate so that as things kept going, like that being used as the emotional core of the film and his connections with all the characters around him, specifically with David Harbour, I feel like that's his name, right? David Harbour.
Nailed it.
I thought was so great because he was such an asshole in the beginning. He was like the overbearing coach, like didn't believe in these kids and let them know. And at the end, when he wins, you see it on David Harbour doing a fantastic job.
When he wins, yeah, like, and there's the podium scene of like them celebrating, but when he wins and Harbour collapses and like, oh, holy shit, like that was like such a great acted moment in Gran Turismo. You're like, oh man, like I totally feel, you know, him the regret of hanging it up, even like again, like, you know, blasting Black Sabbath through his old school cassette thing. It was like when he is like, that's now I just listen. I was like, yeah, that works for me. You know,
It works.
Like, that gives me, you know, the only time I get that feeling anymore is when I blast Black Sabbath. I'm like, damn, all right, I get it. I like that a lot. And he's always chasing that moment to have that win, then to have the champagne. Like,
Dude, yeah,
cool stuff.
champagne moments on the podium. Like, I just feel like it was a well-written, a well-structured movie where it all fit into its place to the point that when they're at the podium at the end with the champagne, I'm like, God, y'all earned that. And it makes us feel like we did something, which is, you know, the ultimate Rocky Creed type thing where you're like, oh yeah, we're so rooting for you for this, that we've seen you through this journey. And like,
He's a gamer just like me.
He's a gamer just like us, you know?
How many platinums this kid got?
But even the moment where I really loved the amount of times they did the location title cards of like where they were going, where the different maps were, race courses, whatever they're called.
Courses.
Which is funny because
Racetracks.
it's like I've played enough of the games to be like, oh, I recognize that word. You know what I mean? Or I recognize that bowl, that statue, or like, just things like that. Even if it's just from us watching E3 trailers. For
Sure,
years, right? I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. But when it said Tokyo, and then they go there, and the payoff between him and the girl of being
Audrey,
like
Aubrey.
earlier in the movie, they're talking about like
Audrey.
where's your dream place to go?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And then they make it there
That's
together.
where your game's from? It's not a game.
Yeah,
Simulator.
I love it though. It's
Yeah, no, it
when
works.
they end up in Tokyo and they talk about it, they're like, I feel like we manifested this. Like I feel like we made this happen. I'm like, God damn, I'm in this. I'm so here for this weird ass little thing. But
yeah, no,
Gran Turismo, man.
it hit for me too. Like after their conversation at the party, to then have it be Tokyo. Where are they going? Tokyo. I was like, no, that's real good. That's
Yeah.
real good. And Tokyo's
So-
a dope city to begin with, let alone them out there having their little adventures.
Seen Shibuya Crossing.
Yeah,
Like, are you
of course.
kidding me,
Yeah,
man?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's go. Tokyo Drift.
But yeah, and I
action.
like the whole thing of like, yeah, all right, you've been cleared of all charges, but everybody else wants sim racers banned. Like, oh no, this is persecution of the highest order. We'll get more sim racers in here then.
There is some crazy shit though. Bless you. There, racing, I don't understand it, right? Not my world, not
Gotta
my
go
vibe,
fast.
whatever. But inside, cool. You go around the lap a couple times, and like it's a race.
24-hour race? Is that the?
Then all of a sudden, it's just like boom, final race. It's 24 hours. Why? That seems like such a big jump, and I get that it's like the big one, but like I just don't know.
Test your endurance in ways nothing else ever has.
And the wildest thing is he won in real life.
Yeah.
Like I was reading, he won third place.
That's all I needed.
But yeah,
you needed
you-
to play. You get to
pole
the
position or whatever.
you get to the podium.
The
You're
podium.
happy.
No, I guess pole
We're just fucking saying things we
We're
know
just
from.
fucking saying things.
You got a flat tire, you know.
So anyway, that's Gran Turismo, everybody. If you at all are interested in cars or Gran Turismo as a franchise, I think you should check this out.
Here's the thing: I don't even think you need to be interested in either of those things.
But I think if
I'm
you
not-
are, you should.
I'm
If
not
you're
interested in either of them, and I just thought it was a cool idea of like, oh, this story of a video game, a gamer winning the competition to do it and go. I'm always a sucker for, then at the end they show you the side by sides with who played who and what it was, and here's the thing, and there's a bunch of little tidbits in there I thought was
Awesome.
dope. Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. I might have sold, I might have talked myself up to, maybe see it in theaters.
Yeah?
You got nothing. You're one of these people who likes watching things. Go watch it. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
myself.
I want to talk a little bit about PlayStation Productions here, though, Greg. Like,
Oh, okay.
do you have thoughts overall? Do you think that they're doing a good job?
They're doing a fine job. I think you were talking about strictly the movies.
No, movies.
Oh, well, I mean, if you talk The Last of Us in there, then fuck yeah, they're doing great. Congratulations. See, here's all your Emmys. I think they're doing a fine job. I do think that when you look at this, Gran Turismo, when you look at Uncharted, like and I'm not the movie guy, right? But there is something missing to both these pictures that make it go, that's not, I guess a blockbuster, but not a blockbuster. That's a 4 on our scale. They're
Yeah.
both missing that thing that takes it from like, oh no, you got to go see this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm smart enough to tell you what that is. It's just the fact of maybe that it's like at no point in Gran Turismo the movie was I surprised. And that's what we're
Yes.
talking about, right? These are very straightforward, simple movies, which are I'm fine with that. Do that, get that down, and then be able to go somewhere else with your pictures, I guess.
Dude, I mean, I think you nailed it there. And for me, the thing that this is a 3 that could be a 4 if they had a couple other elements I was looking for. I feel like what could have made this a 5? Is there anything? And the answer is Top Gun Maverick. Like this movie is very similar to that in terms of what it is trying to do. Top Gun Maverick, a very simple story. The learning, the montages, the challenge, like all that stuff. Very similar setup, right? At no point in this movie was my blood racing. And I feel like that's something where I'm like, all right, cool. So we didn't quite hit where we needed to for the thrill of it all. I was into it. I was like super locked in, but I wasn't like, oh my God, my heart's racing. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in the car,
Sure. fair
Whereas
enough.
in watching Maverick, it's like, I feel like I'm in that jet,
Yeah, I think, at some point, again, I don't understand racing, right? So like when he's just like, I'll go left instead of right. And then he goes, no! I'm kind of like, that doesn't seem that exciting. It seems like what I would do to pass someone on the highway. But like, I get that there's more going on at 290 miles an hour or whatever. But
Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of the thing for me.
That's a great point.
That brings
Yeah,
it
yeah.
down a little. And then the Uncharted side, right? There's like, it's the things that make Uncharted so special to us. Some of them they kind of did. Again, I don't think Uncharted was bad.
I enjoyed it. I'd probably give it a 3 on our scale as well.
As
Yeah.
well, yeah. So overall, I think that PlayStation Productions, I think they're doing a good to great job. Like I feel like overall, I'd probably give them a 4 out of 5 because Last of Us, I'd give it 5.
Sure. Yeah,
And Twisted Metal, man, I'm giving a 4, but like it's for Twisted Metal, it's essentially a 5. Like they really did
Sure.
a great job with that property. Not just for expectations, but for like it's legitimately a fun, good show. But I'm looking at so Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima. We'll see. I feel like both of those could be really interesting as movies.
I think, yeah. Days Gone, I think, has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I think Days Gone, the things we didn't like about the game are very game specific. Hey, you're this biker whose, life got upended when the zombie apocalypse happened and your wife disappeared and you got your friend Boozer, you know what I mean? Like, If they nail that Deacon and Boozer, that's going to be a love affair for the ages, a bromance for the ages, right? And zombies are fun, even though sometimes they're played out. But if they do the whole like piling on top of each other World War Z shit, that could be great. Then Ghost of Tsushima, I'm super excited about.
Oh, yeah.
I think Ghost of Tsushima, such a great game, let alone such a great story. And so to even cut out the I'm following the wind and I'm chasing the fox, the game stuff that we love, or I love doing in a checkmark game or checkbox game, and just get it down to here's your story of revenge. Here's you checking your samurai morals at the door to go be this lives in the shadow ninja. And what is that? Like, that's all great. I really hope they nail that.
Directed by Chad Stahelski, the John Wick guy.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I forget, is it confirmed or were there rumors that they were going to do the whole thing in Japanese and then dub it for American audiences? I forget if
I don't know.
I might be pulling that out of my butt.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But I'm pretty surprised with PlayStation Productions, not studios, because I look at who they're partnering with, and I think they're making a lot of really good calls so far of like getting the right people to work on these projects. Like you could tell that Blomkamp wanted to make Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Like just from the visual identity of it all. So I'm impressed with all that. I feel like if I were to rank the projects so far, I'd go Last of Us, Twisted Metal, Gran Turismo, and then Uncharted.
I need to write a mouse for that. So, Last of Us, obviously, with a bullet. Twisted Metal, I haven't finished yet, but I am enjoying. So, my vote is shaky on that at best. But I'd probably do... That's a great question. That's a great one, Tim. You set me up for failure here. I would say The Last of Us for sure, number one. Then... These last three are so close for me, I feel.
Uncharted, Gran Turismo.
And Twisted Metal that I feel like putting any at the bottom, they're not the worst by any stretch of the imagination. I would say probably TLU, GT, Uncharted, TM. Twisted Metal at the bottom for me.
Cool.
Again, not that I think Twisted Metal is bad. I've enjoyed what I've seen, but I did. The one weird thing about it is that like I walked out of the Uncharted movie and I was like, oh, I had fun with that. Here, however many months later, I'm like, I remember the Nolan North scene. I remember I liked Chloe a lot and how she interacted with Tom Holland. And I remember there was like a Subway fight, like a fight in a Subway sandwich restaurant. And like, but I enjoyed it at the time. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to sit back and be able, GT's pretty by the numbers. It'll probably be totally, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I liked Uncharted more than I'm enjoying Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
But I'm not enjoying
But okay, what about Uncharted, Gran Turismo?
Gran Turismo over it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think this is a better film than Uncharted was. Yeah. Uncharted definitely was like, there was weird, what are you doing? And then granted, like, it's what we're talking about, right? Of like, it's not, they're both movies, they're both PlayStation things, but like one was like, we are the game. And one is like, we're based on reality events of the game, from the game being a game. And so it's like, they weren't trying to like tell the story of the video game of Gran Turismo. Whereas I think Uncharted, like, come on, Mark Wahlberg, Sully, you know what I mean? Where's the music? I guess we say it for both of them or whatever. Yeah. Mainly there was just that thing of, like, remember in Uncharted where it's like, the bad guys just happen to see them go by in a boat, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go that way." And then they fought him. And like, "All right, what the fuck?"
And then God of War and Horizon coming out at some point. So
we'll see what that's all about.
We will see about that. Anyways, let us know if you are interested in watching Gran Turismo. If you do watch it, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it and what you're thinking of PlayStation Productions thus far, what you're most excited about in the future, and if there's any unannounced project that you would like to see. I have a feeling that there are many, many more to come, Greg.
Pat upon.
We'll get there eventually. All right. But until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.
Siphon filter.